Hello, hello, my friend. I am so excited that you are here today, and I'm grateful for this day, for this opportunity to have a conversation with you. And I'm grateful for you coming in and spending your time and energy and attention to just learn. Let's learn from each other. I am here to learn just as you are. If you're tuning in the first time, my name is Jana Masik. I'm hosting this live broadcast, Powering Unique You, to equip, to support, to encourage, and to uplift you, my friend. That you have the power within you to feel energized and, hey, to make this day and this week count. Count your wins, celebrate yourself, give some empathy and pat on the back. You've came a long way to be where you are today. So, my friend, without further ado, I want to just dive into right in today's topic of a conversation. Why and how you can design and start a morning routine that will energize you. And it's all about you, my friend. We all are different, but I do believe that by learning from each other, by finding what works for others, trying it, and maybe working out for your perfect routine, for your perfect energizing mechanism or framework, you can create what really is going to make a big difference in your day-to-day life. My friend, today's guest is quite an amazing gentleman. We met on a podcasting platform, and he also has a broadcast about morning routine. This gentleman is third generation of the business owner. I admire him. I think he has so much knowledge and insight on that part. He's also owning a business saying Morning Upgrade, which is dedicated to increasing the awareness of personal development through a blog, podcast, and book. And he has morning routine cards. I'm sure he's going to share some of those with us. He is a co-owner in his family's marketing agency and a real estate investor. He is dad, and he's actually happened to be right here down the road in Amelia Island today. Without further ado, I want to bring amazing Ryan Cote. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Jana. Good to see you.
So good to see you here. I am so thrilled to have you on the morning show, Monday morning show, talking about morning routines. Ryan,
Yeah.
how did you get into morning routines in the first place? Share a little bit of your story. Why is it so important to you?
It's important to me. I've always been into personal development, and then going back about 5 years ago, just going through some struggles and in the business, and I guess I had the awareness to at least look inside too. Like we were fixing things in the business, of course, but I also realized I needed to fix myself, quote unquote. And
Yes.
so up to that point, I have been reading like uplifting content, personal development, personal growth content, but I didn't know about morning routines. I didn't know about meditation, or I knew about it, but I never really gave it much of a thought. Journaling, gratitude practice, all that stuff that typically goes into a morning routine. And I just happened to come across at that time when I was going through the struggles. I just happened to come across a podcast with Hal Elrod, who's like the OG of morning routines, Miracle Morning. And so it's funny how it's like this. It's like that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up, or whatever this phrase is. I just completely butchered it, but
Yes.
um, my 10 was up for things, and I happened to come across that podcast, and I was like, I never knew about morning routines. I didn't, early bird gets the worm, of course, I knew about that, but I never knew it was a thing to get up 30, 45 minutes, hour earlier than you need to do a series of things to start your day on the right foot. And so I started to dive into that. And then 5 years later, now I have morning upgrade and I have my own morning routine. It set me down a path that I never expected, but it's been fun.
That is amazing. Ryan, I want to applaud and celebrate you because I agree that common knowledge is not a common practice, that we tend to know the morning sets our day. It actually sets our life, because our life is really what we do in the day to day. And still, we're just tend to just get up, grunge, grind, and just get a cup of coffee and then rush away, run all day long, and then collapse and do repeat and repeat again. And no wonder, like you said, we try to fix the outside of our circumstances, whether it be a business, whether it be our career, whether it be our relationships. But we miss that the deeper foundation is the deeper change, and the true change, it comes from within.
Yeah.
And I like that you tie this to morning routine. I am very curious to hear, how did you develop your own? And let's start there. And then how did you, after developing it, what were the tips and to sustain it? Because I found it's not easy once you aspire to do something different. Then you kind of carry on and then you slip and fall. So, how did you come up to this sweet spot where you are right now in your personal morning routine? And then we can share some tips on how others could do that.
Sure. Yeah. So I started off doing the miracle morning routine, and for me, I maybe did it for like a year, and then I equate it to like cooking. You know, if you ever have like a dish that you cook, it's like your specialty, and the more and more you cook it, the more comfortable you get with it, and then you start experimenting with different ingredients, and then you make it your own, I guess you could say. And so I
Yes.
think this is no different. You know, if you do something long enough, you start to develop your own ways and own thinking on how to do it, and so and you adapt it to your lifestyle, to your interests, and all that. And that's what happened with me. I did the Miracle Morning for a long period of time, and then I was like, I wanted to get it shorter. So for me, with three kids, um, getting up early, and I wanted something that I can do. Like I'm on vacation right now. I'm in a hotel, which is why that blinding light behind me, but uh, I can't change it. But I wanted something I can do on vacation, like me, like right now, and with my kids. And so as I played around with more, I got it down to something that was less than 30 minutes. And to me, that's a sweet spot. For me at least, any habits that you want to build or sustain, you need to remove all friction as much as possible. Because at least for me, any friction, it's hard to keep it going. And so I whittled it down to the things that I thought were the most important for me. And it takes about 25 minutes. And I can go into what my morning routine looks like if that's helpful. But
I
for
would
me, it's
love for
short and
you to
sweet.
share. Yes, please. Now that after all of this experimentation, and that's what I feel is important for our listeners to dive in and listen to and research to see what other people are doing, what's helping others. But then, as you said, experiment it and bring it to that sweet routine that you have a little bit more than just grabbing a cup of coffee, getting into your emails and get off to the day. So, Ryan, what does it look like in your life right now?
Yeah, and before I answer that, you're right because so I have the Morning Upgrade podcast. So you were on it, and so I get to hear the morning routines of all my guests, and now it's up to like 100 people, and everyone's got different morning routines. Some do the Miracle Morning to a T. Some just not just, but some take their dog for a walk, get outside and get the sunshine and exercise. Some people have 3 hour very militant cold plunges and just insane morning routines. And so I've seen like the gamut, and it really you have to find out what works best for you. So what works best for me? So I have a series of questions that I answer. So what's my priority for today? It could be personal or professional. Sometimes there's multiple priorities, one or two or three. I write down what I'm grateful for. Okay, and this is all pen to paper. I've got the morning upgrade cards, but you could have just literally a notepad and just answer questions, pen to paper. I prefer pen to paper. I way back in the day I was using the 5 minute journal app, and I like the app, but I'm trying to keep myself off the phone. It's like one of my
Yes.
goals. And so I was like, I can't be on my phone because then I'm going to check other things.
Yeah.
I
Too
prefer
much
pen to paper.
distractions.
Way too much. I'm actually in the process of trying to get myself off the phone an hour before bed, like digital sunset. But that's another topic. So
That's a good one.
yeah, I'm not there yet though. So it's a goal. It's not a habit yet.
It's yeah, well, you know what? It's goal first, it's aspiration, it's practice, and then as you consistently see the value in this, then you make it happen, and you turn around and you're like, how did it happen? Oh, well, I'm practicing it right now, because you know that that's going to add on value to you. And I think we need to shifting the perspective of being everywhere, being involved in knowing all the things about everyone. It's just not as healthy as we think it is. And then there's judgment, there is comparison, there's judgment, there's just so much negativity that you absorb, that you have to realize at some point that it rots you from inside. And I'm right there with you. I deleted social media links of my phone, even LinkedIn. We're broadcasting right now on LinkedIn. I gotta have to delete and just say I don't have those apps, and little slowly by little adjusting what it comes into my mind and my heart every day. But back to your routine, Ryan. I can't wait for you to share some of the things that work for you right now.
Yeah. So to recap the priorities for the day, what I'm grateful for, I'm writing this pen to paper. What was my biggest win from yesterday? Since I'm doing this morning, what was my biggest win from yesterday? And sometimes I have to think about it, and sometimes it forces me to go to my calendar and just remind myself what I did during the day, which is nice, which I like, keeps me present. Um, I write down who I'm going to reach out to today, and that could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be a client, whatever the case is. Oftentimes it's mom, hey mom, and because I have to remember to reach out to her, and
Yes.
and then I journal. I have a little section on my cards where I journal my affirmations, what's on my mind, how I want to show up today, like my intentions. It's all different at 2 or 3 minutes of journaling. And then I exercise for 5 minutes. That's not my only exercise for the day, but typically I'll do like shadow boxing with hand weights, actually. So I'm not lying. There's the hand weights. They slip onto your finger like that. Uh, and then with burpees, and then I meditate for 5 or 6 minutes. If you install the Insight Timer app, there's a bunch of meditation apps. I just like Insight Timer because it's just a really solid app. I use the free version, and they have some really good guided meditations on there. There's 2 or 3 that are like 5 or 6 minutes that are really good guided meditations, and so I put my earbuds in and I do that, and then I read. The last part is I read for 2 or 3 minutes. Um, the book I'm reading right now, it's The Everyday Hero Manifesto by Robin Sharma. It's short little chapters, and so I'll read 2 or 3 pages, give or take, as part of my morning routine. Because again, I'm trying to condense it into about 25 minutes, give or take, and that is it. That's what I
That
do in
is
the morning.
awesome. That is awesome. I love it. I could see that you've put the simple steps that help you feel energized, get you on your A game. I like the prompted questions. I wrote my questions, what fun and exciting things am I going to do today? And this always strains my brain to start thinking harder because I am such a doer. I'm such a server. I always like have my to-do list, but
Yeah.
creating a space to see what am I going to do fun for myself, what am I going to do exciting for myself, and with my family, or by myself, it gives me a different shift brain. So the questions are so important. And as our listeners tuning in today, uh, why a morning routine, Ryan? From your perspective, you mentioned a little bit that you were lost in the business, you tried to fix it from the outside, you found that the true game to win the game is to start working on yourself, to start working inside out. Is there any other reasons why, if someone's tuning in today and they really don't have that solid routine, or they haven't tried to put something else to their morning besides brushing teeth and do a basic stuff to get ready, so why to consider that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really sold into a couple things. The investment in yourself is the best investment you can make. And to me, the morning routines, it's my pillar habit because it checks off a lot of boxes. And so I
Mm-hmm.
look at that time in the morning as investing in myself. If you
Wow.
think about all the things that I talked about, not that you have to follow my routine to the T, but if you think about it, there's exercise, there's stuff for your mind, there's stuff for the business, stuff for personal relationships. And so I'm just, I'm using that time to invest in myself. And to me, it's the best investment you can make is in yourself. And I think if you think about it logically too, because I used to hit the snooze, I didn't have a morning routine. My morning routine was just getting up and, like that's not really a routine, but it was what I would do. And so I would hit the snooze a couple of times. And if you think about it logically, like, and I'm not judging because I used to do that, but I'm just trying
Yes.
to just think about it logically. Like,
I'm right there with you. I'm right there. I think show me the person who didn't hit the snooze. You won't find any.
so you think about it though, like if you hit the snooze a couple times because you really don't want to get out of bed, what kind of message does that send to yourself? You
Yes.
know, and especially if you're doing it over and over and over
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
versus getting up 30 minutes or whatever early and doing a series of things, even if it's just like your morning routine could be simple, it could be just literally reading, time to yourself reading. If you think about it, like those two, they're like polar opposites. And what I found, at least for myself, is that the more I do the morning routine, the more I speak about it like this morning upgrade and all that stuff, it changes your identity. Because if I'm the type of person that wakes up 30 minutes early to invest in myself, I'm probably the kind of person that makes better food choices, not perfect food choices, but better food choices. I'm the type of person that will do X, Y, and Z to invest in themselves. So it just sends you down like this interesting journey of where else can I invest in myself beyond just
Yes.
my morning. That's my
Yeah.
basic. That's my experience, at least.
I love that. I love that it is simple. And I love that you got to start investing in yourself. I think we live in a society where, being in debt is so prevalent that people, just become the slaves of, their um, ambitions and impulses, and just do what is good, and then kind of get into financial indebtedness, but then toward themselves, like you said, just snoozing the button. And I'm like, oh, I remember, I've had months and years like this. I was just dreading getting up in the morning, like another day. Well, here you go, let me just snuggle on my bed for 5 more minutes to feel a little bit better, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get up and do it. Well, I like the why. The why is really, you gotta have to value yourself. If you want to progress, to grow, to make a change, to gain the results that you desire in your life and your career and your business, you're gonna have to start with yourself. This is you are the biggest investment, the most important person that you can invest in. And it starts with morning. So whatever it looks for you, design it. Find something that energizes you. Start with, what Ryan described, something that works for you. For me, I am a person of faith. I would like to aspire to spend a few minutes in prayer, and maybe read a couple verses from the Bible. It whatever it works for you, you gotta have to design what energizes you, and reach out and search. Look up morning miracle morning routine. Maybe that something resonates with you. Check out Ryan's podcast as well. I feel that is important. And then how to structure that, Ryan. I know we talked about, there's different scenarios and ways. Any other suggestions or tips on how to structure it, if it's, especially if you fall off the wagon, if you're like me sometimes, it's like I have this great things I need to follow, but then the kids, the chaos, something happens, the baby woke up in the middle of the night, I slept through, my morning routine is whacked. How do I get back? How do I refocus myself?
Yeah, I would say too, be easy on yourself because you're not gonna be perfect. Like I'm on vacation, like I mentioned, so my routine is even more slimmed down than it is than versus what I described, and so it's all about starting small. I mean, for your listener, for everyone watching, I would say start small, 15 minutes, read, gratitude practice, meditation. Yeah, really, you have to experiment and see what works best for you. It's hard to say, like, it's hard for me to say what will be best for each person because it's different, but there's tried and true, like meditation, reading, gratitude practice, exercise. Those are all things that it's good for everyone, no matter what your situation is. And so I would say start small, 15 minutes, even 10 if you have to, and just solidify that habit and then slowly expand on it, experiment, read content on the topic, and just kind of dive into it, dive into the world. I think what you'll find is you'll start to feel better about yourself. You'll show up differently, and then you'll want to do more. You'll get more into it, and that was my experience. The more I got into it, it's interesting because like sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Usually I do, but sometimes I don't. But it's almost like it's like who I am now. So it's like you might not feel like brushing your teeth, but you're
Yeah.
gonna do it anyway. And that's kind of the point I'm at now, where it's just who I am, and so I just do it even if I don't feel like it. And it helps that it's a slimmed 25-minute routine. But it's interesting. It becomes your identity.
I love it that you put it in incorporated and make it easy. I like that you started to take it easy on yourself. I think we are a lot of. I speak for myself as a mom. We tend to be so brutal to ourselves to say, oh, that's another. Here you go. I slept again. I haven't done it, and we just beat up ourselves. No good, or give up. Don't give up on yourself. Take it easy. The habits are not as easy to put in place and build. It takes consistency. It's just a matter of why. So we started with why. So start with your why. Maybe take a piece of paper and write it down. Why do you need to start morning routine? Why do you need to invest in yourself? What is at stake? And then write down some hows. Where do you want to start? Maybe it's literally 5 minutes. Maybe you give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And what does it look like? Something that I've discovered recently is a mental fitness framework where you find a way to pay attention. It's like a meditation, but you pay attention to your body, you pay attention to the senses of your body, and you
Mhm.
help to calm down your brain chatter. And it's really helpful to just reassess and to say, okay, I need to give myself this time so then I can perform better, so I can be more clear-headed, more laser focused, and take action on the things that really matter. Because
Right.
sometimes we tend to rush into the day, get busy, 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 busy. We seem to be have done a lot but accomplished nothing. I do not know if you can relate to that, but
Yeah.
I'm like a busy, busy bee. I can run around and do a lot of things. But when I look back, I say, well, really, what moves the needle in my life and in my business, I didn't get to this. I didn't done it, and I've burned myself. So it's reframing yourself, reframing your mind to identify why. Why do you need to do that? Look at different ways, how to structure it, the time, and what activities you're doing, and then what really energizes you. So, Ryan, what are the things that the most energizing you from the routine? I know you mentioned a little bit of exercise, a little bit of this. Are they all of them you feel energizing, or are there one's activities are more energizing than others?
Yeah, I mean, they're all energizing. It's when I was trying to create my own routine, I did exactly what you just said, pen to paper, and I wrote down, okay, these are the things that are really important to me that I believe in, and this is how long it's going to take me. I was trying to get to like a 20, 25 minute. My routine was 20 minutes. I actually added the reading a couple months ago because I think it's really important. So I was like, I should add 2 or 3 pages. So now I'm up to like 25 minutes, but um, you know, they're all collectively, they add to the routine. They're all collect, like, what's the phrase? I can't think of it, but they all add up to the routine, and they're all important. If I had to pick one, I would probably say gratitude practice. I do it with my daughters too. Before they go to bed, I have them give me one thing they're grateful for, and I've seen it kind of shift their thinking too. Like, for example, when I first started with them, it would take them forever to give me an answer, or it would be something like really obvious,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. But as time goes on, they're quick to answer. They know what they're going to say. Maybe, usually it's something that happened that day. If I
Yeah.
ask them today, of course they're going to say that we're in Amelia Island
Yes.
vacation. So, but you can see it's rewired the brain to like look for
Yeah.
the positive more quickly. And so I'm a true believer, and I've been doing it forever. Like, uh, what I'll try to do is, like, throughout the day, I'll stop and think about what I'm grateful for. So I try to do it beyond just my morning routine. So if I had to pick one thing, I would probably say gratitude practice.
That I love this. So I'd say start with gratitude, write it down, and I like that you have in there reminders to call people. Who do you reach out to? I really love this. I think we go through days sometimes seem to be connected but so disconnected in
Right.
reality. We seem to see all these people on social media, that seem to be important to us, but then we don't take time to truly connect and have heart-to-heart conversations. So I like that you have it on your routine. Who do you going to connect today with? And it doesn't have to be 10 people, but one important person you do want to reach out, and you kind of set yourself a goal to say, I'm going to reach out to this person. At least I'm going to call my mom and say, hi, I love you. That is energizing as well. And I love that. Ryan, well, thank you so much for coming in today. This has really been a phenomenal conversation. I like that you shared your insights, your experience with us. Any parting words of advice to help people get started, get motivated, and practice?
I'll say, I'll remind everyone to start small. I think that's really important. I really believe in the morning routine. Morning routine. I think it's a strong pillar habit. If you read the biographies of many successful people, they usually get up early and invest in themselves. So it's not just me saying it. Just if you just look online, just look at all the like major successful people, they usually have some sort of morning routine. And then I would say, separate from that conversation, but tied to like personal development, I'm a big believer in looking for opportunities to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And based on my experience, that's the moments, like the hard moments I think back in my life. Um, like with our real estate investments where we had a drip and the ceiling collapsed, and I was like, oh, like things like that, like those situations that are really hard in the moment. There's always been growth on the other side. And so now I'll try to look for opportunities to push myself out of my comfort zone. Like, for example, I just signed up for Krav Maga, which is like a martial arts combat thing. Why? Because I wanted to learn it, and it seemed really uncomfortable for me, like going there and doing that type of stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And so I talk about this stuff on the morning upgrade. I actually have to do it. And so just look for opportunities to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because it'll get easier and easier, and it like builds a callus for those challenges. Not that the challenges are going to stop, but you're just more equipped to handle them. And so that's my
I
parting
love this. Is
words.
great. Ryan, where can our listeners and viewers connect with you and find the information if they want to learn more about Morning Upgrade, what you do?
It's morningupgrade.com.
Perfect.
Very easy.
Morningupgrade.com. Check it out. Listen to some podcast episodes. Ryan, it's been really great conversation. I enjoyed your insights. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Wow, this is really good. So, morning routines seem to be a simple topic, seem to be like we all know it, right? But not many of us are doing that. And how do we do? How do we improve? Start with why. Start why would you need to do that? Why do you need to invest in yourself? And then with how. How do you do that? How much time you want to give yourself? What is a realistic approach for you? And then pick the things that really energize you. Pen to paper. I love Ryan's advice. Sometimes we're just too much into digital. So let's get back to basics. Pen to paper. I love the nature. I love that we need to just be connected with others. Find more deeper relationships and conversations to enrich ourselves, to feel more alive in the moment. So, my friend, I hope you have received a great value from today's discussion. I wish you the most phenomenal week. Go get some wins. Go set yourself for success. Start that or improve your morning routine this week. And until then, I will see you again. Keep powering in EQ.